Welcome to Bob Riding's in Decatur. We are this year's proud sponsor of the Herald and Review Preps. To all the players, coaches, and fans out there, we wish you a very successful season. Remember, for all your automotive needs, come see us at Bob Riding's in Decatur, across from Caterpillar.
Hi, this is Justin Kahn from the Decatur Herald and Review here in Tolono, where tonight the Class 2A number 2 team in the state, Maroa-Forsyth, defeated the Class 3A number 1 team in the state, Tolono Unity. I know a lot of people would have thought this was going to be a much higher scoring game, and to be honest, even watching it, it felt like it should have been a higher scoring game. A lot of explosive athletes on both sides of the ball. It just felt like, Unity could break through at any time, but you got to give credit to Maroa's defensive line and their linebackers as well. The front four for Maroa had an unbelievable game with Jonte Newburn, Aaron Ford, Tyler Cisco, and Zach Murphy. Those guys really came to play tonight. That was one area where I know Maroa felt like they made an improvement this year on the line, and man, it showed. That's a championship defensive line right there. Also, linebackers, in particular, Tim Younger had a ton of tackles tonight. So just really got to give them a lot of credit. Tolono, though, really shot themselves in the foot a lot. A ton of fumbles. Michael Laifenhagen had some big runs that ended in fumbles, and that really hurt them. And Tolono looked like they were going to get on the board first. Maroa kind of made the first mistake in the game. Zach Murphy had a fumble that set up Tolono deep in Maroa territory, but Logan Stelsredy, who's, of course, Maroa's quarterback, he played some defensive back tonight, had a humongous interception, returned it 50 yards. Josh Josephs called that their best offensive play of the night, and it was probably the longest single play either team had in the game, and that was a huge play. Maroa was able to turn that later on into a touchdown. A short run by Tim Younger gave them the 7-0 lead early. Tolono scored its only touchdown on a play. Stelsredy was defending on Alex Thorson of Tolono Unity, but Tyler Black he didn't make a lot of good throws tonight, but this was a beauty of a throw into the end zone right over the arms of Stelsredy. They were able to tie the game on that. The only other touchdown in the game came in the first half, late in the first half. Maroa was facing a 4th and 3. It was hard to figure what they were going to do because Tolono was kind of stuffing their inside run game. They ran a screen pass, Stelsredy, to the freshman Jack Hockaday from Maroa, who had a huge game. He's their number 1 receiver right now. Him and maybe Zach Murphy as well. They both had nice nights tonight, but really Stelsredy looks to Hockaday a lot and likes him. Hockaday finished with 71 yards receiving, including that short touchdown on the screen play. Ended up being the decisive score. You would have thought they were going to score more, like I said earlier. Second half, both teams just kind of got bogged down in mistakes, and like I said, pretty good line play on both sides of the ball. It came down to Tolono had the ball with about 5 minutes left to go. They started driving down and got to about midfield. There was an interception by Blake Davis of Maroa, and it got called back actually on a roughing the passer. And at that point, you kind of felt like maybe Tolono had the momentum. But a couple plays later, on an option pitch, Tolono fumbled. Jonte Newburn jumped on the recovery, and Maroa was able to grind it out. Not something we always see from Maroa. Sometimes, it's tough for them to grind things out because, they're a passing team. But Tim Younger and Stelsredy both had some real gritty, tough runs late in the game, and they were able to seal it. Not what you would necessarily expect out of a Maroa game, a defensive struggle, and I know they don't want a whole bunch of defensive struggles this year, but got a win and one tonight. Early season, big W for the Trojans. Again, the final here tonight, 13-7 Maroa over Tolono. Make sure you check back to hrpreps.com for all the coverage.
Couldn't be more proud of my kids. Love those guys, and they towed the line. I think I've told you, you've been talking to me most of the summer. I said this front seven that we got, maybe the best one I've ever had.
We focus on defensive a lot, and this is probably one of the best we've had since I've been in here. This probably is the best front seven that we have. They're big, they're strong, they like to hit, and they're great athletes.
It's a good feeling, it's the best feeling right now. Just getting chills everywhere.
We got to a point, we just never got in rhythm on offense. They had a lot to do with that. They're a great defense. We'll be better on offense, I assure you. You won't see us getting held to 13 very many times.